Hey everyone, welcome back to my live videos. Now we've gone almost 120 days sideways. So we're coming to the end of that. So I can actually talk about something because for 120 days we've gone sideways and there's been nothing to talk about. So there's a couple of scenarios that I want to look at. And, obviously everyone's saying, well, not everyone, because I'm not one of those people, as saying, 10K, but are we going to 10K or are we going up? So let's have a look at our options. Like there's always an option that we can go down. Obviously, if something happens in the market and, global markets affect everything. So let's jump into Bitcoin and have a look. So this is the immediate pattern. So this is our forever sideways pattern. And you can see that this last low is classed as a W. So we've got 5 waves in this region, which technically means we should hold the low and continue up. So we've got a W here. We've got our X, which is a failed breakout. We've come down for our Y, which is a complex correction. And at the moment, we're either going up for an impulse or an X. So this X, if it does fall down and reverse, we're going to hit around, we could reverse at this point here, which is our 100 MA, which is about 21 sort of 350. That's the possible rejection of this breakout point. So if we do break below this Y, we then get a Z wave or a Z wave, depending on what part of the world you're in. And, that will come back down and retest this low. So this low was around the 17,552 region, depending on exchange. We've got strong bullish divergence on a lot of time frames. We've got levels that are holding with accumulation patterns. So, while we might get a rejection in this region, I don't think it's going to be a huge rejection. So I don't think it's going to be the massive 10K rejection that, a lot of people have been talking about. So it's still my opinion that we're going to see around 28K by Christmas. So what does that look like? So this is the 12-month chart. And we can see that, obviously we've got this huge wick down from the 69K range. And then we've had this massive red candle. So to finish this candle around this point or above brings us into the new year into a positive momentum. So even though we can go down into the new year, like I do think we're going to finish above this range in the, by December. So, this momentum needs to start sort of changing direction as we are. So if you go onto Twitter and you have a look at my quantitative trading chart, which gives you sort of time breakdowns for, when we're going into, that accumulation period for when, momentum changes every 4 years. And obviously we've got the Bitcoin halving every 4 years. So we've got strong, what do you call that stuff? Interest rate rises and that sort of stuff. So strong inflation at the moment. And so we're going to go next year into a deflationary period, which means that Bitcoin will have a lot more room to move. So, and interest rates will start easing. So that's going to be the second half of next year. And that's when we get that momentum change. But for now, we are also going to get a momentum change going into Christmas, where we see this range, and we will finish the year with a wick, in my opinion. So while we are going to finish at about 28, we could go to 35 in this next wave up. So what that looks like here is a breakout of this resistance that we've been under since about 35, 34K. So we want to see these regions retested. So this diagonal support that is now a resistance, we didn't even get to test in this region. So it's untested as yet. So for me, that needs to be tested before we absolutely break down. So if we're going straight up from here, we're looking at about 36K. So if we can get positive momentum to about 36,000, and then a pullback by the end of the year. We finish at that 28K level, giving us a huge wick, giving us the next year, maybe going into January, going down, and then momentum going up. So that's kind of what I'm looking for at the moment. While we're going to see a little bit more sideways, I do think we're going to break out of this region and then retest. So we want to see a breakout fairly soon over the next few days, and then a retest down on the other side and making this support. So we're still sitting at the 786 above that level on the longer term Fibonacci. So this is a 3-day chart. So that's looking really, really good for Bitcoin, that we've held this region for so long. If we do have that Y wave down, this region's still going to hold, in my opinion. I don't think there's enough sell volume now for that to continue selling down. So if you have a look at the volume and how that momentum's changing, there's less sell volume and a lot more buy volume coming into these regions. So we saw Bitfinex last week sell over 25,000, 30,000 Bitcoins, and there was literally no movement. So that momentum's changing. So that does mean that the key regions we need to watch right now are 21,160 to 21,250. So that region here is going to be pivotal as to whether that can turn this region into a support on a breakout. Even if we have one more pullback here and then we have another try before we go up. So what it might look like is a test to here, pullback to here, and then a breakout, and then potentially a move up. So that's kind of what I'm looking for at the moment. I'd rather see this Y finished here. We don't always get the X and the Z wave. So, a breakout would be the best possible scenario for Bitcoin right now. So that's what I'm seeing. So, comments, any questions, jump onto Twitter or YouTube, and I try to reply to everyone. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.